This is demoknight. And this is demoknight. What's the difference? Well, one uses high explosive ordinances to rain death upon ignorant savages, while the other uses the mastery of the blade to reign supreme in battle. Reading the title of this video, you can already assume we will try to master the art of the swordsmanship to gain an edge over our opponents. But don't get it twisted, the learning curve for this challenge was basically non-existent. Provided with an insane number of weapons that you can switch around for this class based on the enemy team creates this state where you dominate in one round and get sent to the Shadow Realm in the next one, making you adapt and reimagine everything you have learned about the way you play in every single match. Now the question is, can I master this subclass just under 7 days and become one of the greatest swordsmen the game has ever seen, or lose my sanity over a video game and uninstall my will to live in the next couple of hours? There's only one way to find out. Let's start my journey of demoknight. Demoknight has quite a few options to choose from when it comes to weapons, because the only thing that matters in this subclass is that you have to have a shield equipped. That's it. After that, you can either go full demoknight by ditching your grenade launcher in favor of some boots for more turn control, or keeping them, making you a hybrid knight. For the first day of the challenge, we will strictly stick to the boots, a shield and the Eyelander, a weapon combination known as the classic demoknight. The sword gives you a speed and a health boost every time you behead an enemy, but on the other hand, it can do random critical strikes and takes 25 of your HP, which we counter by using the boots. And also, because this is the Lance channel, we have at least a strange kill streak version of everything we will be using, just so I can write it off of my taxes as a business expense. So with all this shenanigans out of the way, let's get started. Our first match took us to Frontier, where I got a taste of the hardness of this challenge. You know, going melee only in an FPS game happens to be a pretty rough experience, especially if you don't know what you're doing. So here are some basic tips that I've discovered on my first day to not totally suck at a demoknight. First, you usually want to avoid the power classes of the game. I'm talking about soldiers, demomans, heavies and pyros, because they counter you. Soldiers and demos with their explosives that can send you flying, heavy with his abysmal health pool, and pyro with his blast. I mean, don't get me wrong, you can deal with them, but the odds are stacked against you. What you want to fight instead are snipers, medics, spies, engineers and scouts if you have more than 3 heads. Because, believe it or not, a demoman with 4 heads is the fastest running class in the entire game with the second biggest health pool. And that, my friends, can counter quite a few classes. But what about non-playable stuff? Huh? Yeah, sentry guns will be the bane of your existence. This chunk of metal with aimbot is probably the biggest area denial entity for you in the entire game. There are ways to take it down as a demoknight, but it involves some pretty crazy shenanigans and a lot of knowledge which I did not have at this point. So I chose the most logical way of dealing with them, ignoring them while my team takes them down. And it went quite good. I have raked up some good kill streaks, some nice moments, and all in all I was having a great time, thinking this challenge is going to be a piece of cake. Until I've arrived at Badwater last. It only took 3 engineers to make my day totally miserable. I kid you not, I have never felt more useless in my life. Just charging in, hoping to get at least 1 kill before I get blasted into the sky, over and over and over again. Trying at least a dozen times without any results made me question the usefulness of the Eyelander. If I can get my first 2 heads, it's basically the worst sword in the game, making me start from a disadvantage every time I die. But I leave the Eyelander where it was for today, because the timer have run out, meaning we've lost the round and it was time to go to bed. And come back the next day refreshed. Day 2 starts off with me opening my loadout page and looking for alternative swords to use instead of the Eyelander. After a bit of consideration, my choice landed on the Half Zatoichi, a samurai sword that gives you half of your HP every time you get a kill in exchange for no random critical hits and not being able to switch off from the sword unless you get a kill or trading a chunk of your health bar for it. But because you can only use a sword with this loadout, this downside does not come up at all. And also there is a hidden stat for this weapon that hardly strategy ever comes into play. If you are using this sword and by any chance meet an enemy who is also using it, the usual messed up fight turns into a one swing, one kill interaction. But no one uses this weapon, so there is no reason to talk more about this little gimmick. So let's jump into a game and try it out. Our first map was none other than Badwater. At the start it actually went pretty well, charging at people, killing them and using the bonus health to escape from the scene of the crime. And I've even managed to break the ankles of a spy main. But you know whose ankles I did not manage to break? Those damn sentry guns. They are still out of my league even with this sword. Feeling a bit devastated about not being able to deal with the sentry guns, I was on the verge of quitting for the day. Until one man appeared in our spawn room. He was in a full samurai set using the Hawazatoichi and absolutely demolished the enemy team. I knew if I wanted to get better, this was my chance, and asked him for advice. And he actually took me under his wing. He explained how charge strafing works, as the experts call it, and how to sentry surf, giving me all this forbidden knowledge of the class that I couldn't even comprehend. Like if you want to charge for longer durations, simply jump before starting it, making you go further and harder for enemies to hit. Or you can ride sentries in a circular motion, making them completely useless so you can easily slice them up for scrap metal. And after giving me all this advice, he just left, never to be seen ever again. Using the knowledge he gave me, I was actually getting some pretty good runs in my games, even managing a certain kill streak in a game of Frontier. But you know what even this man couldn't help me with? Pyros. Yeah, a competent one can single-handedly stop you from playing a game, and as fate would have it, I happened to run into one who managed to not just terrorize me, but my entire team. Death after death after death, whatever we tried, it was hopeless. We were simply no match for him. And this kinda broke my morale, so I closed the game for the rest of the day and went outside. Probably the best thing I did in the entire challenge. I woke up on day 3 and decided to do some research before I log on to the game. I have found two guys who knew what they were talking about, Odin and Solarlight. Both of their channels are in the description. They made some pretty good guides on how to not suck. So I started gobbling up knowledge like never before, and after 3 to 4 hours of learning, it was time to put the theories to the test. I have changed my loadout to the Iron Bomber, the Titanner and the Claymore. But why? I'm glad you asked. The Iron Bomber will be my main damage dealing weapon from now on, with a bunch of utility options as well. I can use it to deal a clean 100 damage to anyone with a direct hit. This means I'm finally able to deal with sentries, and because the pipes don't roll, I can use it for explosion jumping, which I could even combo into a charge to ruin some unsuspecting sniper's day.
Gah, now that's downright embarrassing.
You might realize we don't have boots anymore because we don't need them for the turn control. The Titanner covers that ground perfectly. It lets you do crazy turns like this, and that combined with the Claymore's plus half-second charge duration can turn any demo man into a Japanese suicide bomber. In the you will be flying into your demise 90% of the times type way. But let's not focus on that. The main part is that the demo man can fly. With the right kind of technique, you can soar the open skies like no soldier could ever before, and all you need is a ramp and the charge strafing technique from the previous day, and off you go. Okay, it's not that simple, but it kinda is. You have 3 types of ramps: small, medium and steep. For small ramps, you go in from above, like this on upward. For medium ramps, you just jump and charge into them at 90-degree angle. This will make you slide up on the ramp in airborne state, while for steep ramps, you just walk into them and charge as you jump. To maximize learning, I have cut out every map from the search pool and only queued for upward because this map has the most well-known trimping spots. Yes, this technique is called trimping. I am unstoppable. No mortal soul can stop me now. Hey, this is not even playing demoknight. What do you mean? I'm using a shield. Isn't that enough? Technically yes, but didn't you start this challenge to be able to fight everyone with a sword like a real man? Yeah, you might be right. I can't keep relying on this launcher whenever I'm having trouble with a sentry or facing a team with my counters. If I want to call myself a good demoknight player, I have to master the art of the blade. This is it, the real way to play the class, having your options limited by the weapons you use, forcing your brain to come up with solutions for every problem you face, a split-second decision determining that you live or die. Utilizing all the tips and tricks I've learned on this journey made me a feared swordsman on every server I've joined. Flying off ramps, slicing up sentries, but most importantly, making someone regret picking spy. Doing all this while wielding a blade that is as sharp as the edge of the knife you put your life on. Truly a masterful way to play. Wait. No, this can't be the same guy from the second day. I've learned everything from him, and now we stand on opposing sides.
Defeat me to prove that you're worthy of the sacred art of the blade. Will you accept the duel?
This was it, the final moment I've been training for. Am I ready? Did I prepare enough to be able to defeat the friendly master who taught me the ways at the beginning? Well, there's only one way to find out. I have done it.
Well done, kid. You are one of the masters now.
And to answer the question at the beginning, yes. You can absolutely learn demoknight in 7 days, and who knows, maybe you make a new friend on the way there. Thank you, kind sir, for teaching me the ropes. And thank you for watching this video till the end. Maybe you can subscribe and check out my Twitch where I usually live, and hit the like button so I can be back with the next video in a month or so. Till then, goodbye.